Welcome to day 190. We're in Psalms 105 and 106. And 105 and 106 are really about acknowledging the history of Israel, which that in of itself is circumstantial evidence towards the validity of it. Acknowledging our history and understanding what had happened. So 105 and 106 kind of goes through all the things that we just got done reading in the first half of the year, all in a nutshell. So just real quickly, 105, 8 through 11, I started out with these verses. He always stands by his covenant, God. The commitment he made to 1,000 generations. This is the covenant he made with Abraham and the oath he swore to Isaac. He confirmed it to Jacob as a decree and to the people of Israel as a never-ending covenant. I will, quote, I will give you the land of Canaan as your special possession. So I start out there because that explains the beginning really of Israel, the history of Israel, the promise that God makes to them, and acknowledges that it's through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not Abraham and Ishmael, which is why we have the problem in Israel today. And then it goes through the list of things. And here's a key point that's listed in here about something that we mentioned early in the Bible. Verse 23, then Israel arrived in Egypt. Jacob lived as a foreigner in the land of Ham. Verse 27, they performed miraculous signs among the Egyptians and wonders in the land of Ham. All right. 106, chapter 106, 21 through 22. They forgot God, their Savior, who had done such great things in Egypt, such wonderful things in the land of Ham, such awesome deeds at the Red Sea. Okay, so 3 times it's mentioned as we're talking through the events that Israel went through in the land of Egypt, which is the land of Ham. So why do I keep saying Ham? If you've forgotten your lineage, then you need to understand that you had Noah and Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So Shem, Ham, and Japheth, if you remember, Shem was the one who was counted righteous in that time period. Shem and Japheth went in with a covering to cover up their dad because he was drunk and in a tent, and Ham is the one who made fun of him, and he was cursed from that point. Now we could go back and read that, but in general, that's kind of what happened, and so his generation and generations after him have been cursed. Well, where is that at? That's in Egypt. And that's what has happened to them. And if you look at Egypt over the years, since Israel has been in existence, it's not a great place. So something to have been pointed out there that maybe we just didn't understand where all the people went into the various countries. Well, Ham went into the land of Egypt. So, and it's not just Egypt, it's that southern, south and southwestern part of south of Egypt and southwest of Israel and southwest of Israel into the land of Egypt. So that is where Ham ended up in the generations there of that time. Okay, now, and then it goes on, I just want to point out the failure of their sins and what they've done is talked about here, as I just mentioned a little bit. If we go to 106, 37, and 38. They even sacrificed their sons and their daughters to the demons. They shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, by sacrificing them to the idols of Canaan. They polluted the land with murder. So, and it goes on, it mentions all the other things. They turned their backs on God and blah, 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 blah. And the point is, you have the whole history, and they're going to be exiled because they failed. And I'm not saying that as in a righteous tone to say, well, look how awesome we are. I mean, we murder millions of babies every year in our land, in America alone. So what a crazy, crazy world we live in, and how history can repeat itself. So in our Bible, in these two chapters, we have a summation of things that have happened and an acknowledgement of history. So it's a great thing to read. It may have seemed boring because you're like, oh, I already know this, but it's nice to notice those things being repeated later on in the Bible. So that's your day 190. I'll see you tomorrow.